Hi there, Trish Robichaud here from MS Relief. I'm here with Dawn Keegan Silverstein, my nutritional health coach. Hey Dawn, how you doing?
Great, Trish. How are you?
I'm good. And we're here to do another episode of Weight Loss for Wellness on Choose Joy TV. This is my weight loss journey, and Dawn's been coaching me through it. And it was an okay week. As you might recall from our last our session, I had been in quite a bout of depression,
Right.
and seemed to be coming out of it. That's a good thing. Things are getting a little bit better. My mental health wise, I mean, things are getting a little more stable.
Good.
And getting back to normal, my normal goofy self. And yes, my husband knows when I'm not being a goof, then something's usually wrong.
Right.
Yeah, something's not good.
Well, what is good? What are the good things that have happened in the last week?
Oh my God, a really fabulous thing here. I don't know whether I honestly don't recall if I shared this in a past session, but I had a lump on my breast, and I saw my surgeon on Thursday. This was a follow-up. He wanted to get another x-ray, or excuse me, another ultrasound of the lump, and they were supposed to do a biopsy. When I was there for the appointment for the ultrasound, after the ultrasound, she came back to me and said, we'd like to do a mammogram while you're here as well. That kind of freaked me out, that, you know, on the drop of a hat, they had to do a mammogram.
Right.
But I found out the reason why they decided they wanted to do the mammogram on top of the ultrasound was because they couldn't find the lump on the ultrasound, and then on the mammogram they didn't find the lump either.
Great.
So it appears that the lump has disappeared, and my body has healed it. And
Great.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's fantastic
news.
news.
Really,
Definitely.
really good news. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the doctor was so surprised that he did another breast exam while I was there, and he couldn't find it, whereas he'd felt it in the past. And he was so stunned, he called another doctor in to come and do a breast exam on me. So I felt up pretty good in that appointment. Yeah. And nobody could find anything, so that was a good thing.
Good,
so
that's
yeah,
great.
so I'm really
It's a
happy
load
about
off your
that.
mind. Great.
Totally.
And where's your weight loss at these days?
Last Sunday I stepped on the scale and I was 243.2, I think, 0.2 or 0.4, 243. And so 243 makes it over 50 pounds now.
Amazing.
Originally, when I was as high as 296, and last year in the summer, I think I was like 293 or 292 or something like that. And when you and I first got started, I think I was in the high 80s, 288
so,
or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 243.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what do
So
you
happy.
attribute to that to for this past week? What have you been doing differently?
Wow.
Because I know you've been doing a few things differently.
Okay. I've been walking. This past week it did not involve a lot of walking because we had like 4 out of 7 days were over 100 degrees.
Right.
So I didn't walk. But I had mentioned in previous sessions that my living room's in renovation mode right now, and Ernest had moved my bike out of the living room and put it away to get it out of the way for the renovation. I had him bring it back so that on those hot days that I can't walk, I'm biking in the house. And you know, this is beauty. Before I started with the walking, the biking I could do like 5-10 minutes. 10 minutes tops before I really started feeling the numbness and tingling and all of that crap. And last night I did 22 minutes on my bike with no symptoms and no after effects whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
incredible.
The walking has really done. It has definitely strengthened my legs.
Great. That's
In
great
fact,
news.
even like my bad leg is the right leg. Like I have a lot of numbness, and you know, when I go to get up into the truck, I have to grab my leg by the knee and pick up that leg to get into the
Right.
truck.
Mm-hmm.
But since the walking has started, well, things are just, it's easier. I'm actually walking, and I can't remember, one day Linda was telling us about this, and I can't remember how she described it, but I always used to walk sideways up the stairs, like 1 foot at a
Oh, yep, yep,
time,
yep.
right? Well, this week I'm walking like this up the stairs.
Really?
Yes. So there, I didn't bother trying to describe it, Linda. I
Yeah,
just showed you one of these. Yeah.
that's
So that,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So now, and when I blogged about it recently, I want to clarify for people with MS
Mm,
that I don't believe that the weight is responsible for my MS, but
right,
and losing the weight has not diminished the fact that I have MS,
right,
but losing the weight has better enabled my body to cope with the MS.
right. Do you feel like it's
And
had a beneficial effect on the symptoms? Because
absolutely,
you still have MS,
absolutely,
but it's easier to move around. It's less
way
stress.
easier.
It's less stress on your body. MS is a disease of inflammation, and when there's less weight on your body that your body has to, take care of and fight, there's less inflammation in your body.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
it's just all beneficial. What's going on with the NutriBullet? I know you had some really horrible, horrible juices that got dumped in the toilet. You told me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I had to call her one day, just so everybody knows. I had to do an emergency coach call. I had to do one this
this
week
was
and say,
vile.
"Oh my God, are these drinks supposed to taste this awful?"
No, they're not. They're really not. I promise. It's not punishment.
No, and it was right. Um, yeah,
Okay.
when I first started trying it, I saw in the recipe book it said like 2 handfuls of greens, right? So I
Right.
put 2 handfuls in,
Right.
um, and it was not only very green, but it tasted very green too.
Yeah.
Once I put the veggies in, and then I put the fruits in, and mixed it all up, I had too much fruit
Yeah.
and vegetable in it
Right.
because it was coming out the consistency of a puree.
Yeah. That was too
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so that went in the toilet. So yeah,
You could have dumped it in the
did.
garden, but no, in the toilet.
Yeah, I guess I could have, eh? I could have even dumped it down. It's so natural. I could have dumped it down the kitchen sink for that
No,
matter.
absolutely.
But
So have you figured out a better ratio?
yes.
Okay.
I've decided to, instead of going for the recipes in the book,
Mm.
I've decided to take my own recipes for
Mm-hmm.
the protein shakes that I make.
Right. Yep.
And I've just been like using my own recipe that I've been using for years,
Right.
and then I'm just topping my own recipes up with some kale.
Great.
Or maybe I'll cut back on some of the fruit and I'll
Right.
throw some tomato in instead or something,
Perfect. That's perfect.
So I'm
Yeah, you can evolve into like a slightly green drink from a smoothie.
yes, and that's been far more effective. I've been increasing the amount of greens just by a smidgen each day. So
Do you
that
feel
I've
any
actually,
different?
I have to tell you, any drink that I make with kale in it,
Yes.
kale, oh my God, who knew? It is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
When I drink one of my shakes, if I have any kale, even if it's just like this much of a
Couple of
leaf,
leaves. Right.
yeah, I have a boost of energy.
I told you.
Yep. I just, honest to God, this just blew my mind. And
I know.
now I got hubby doing the drink.
Oh.
So yeah, he said energy, extra energy. I'll go for that. He said. So
He's
yeah.
like, oh,
So
then there's more things he can build.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's building docks right now. Yeah,
Well,
building
I'm really
docks.
excited to hear that you felt a difference, because that's what we
I
were
did.
talking about in the past. That, to me, they're like natural energy shots, and until
Hmm.
you actually experience it, it's hard to believe
It
that
is.
just throwing in a couple of leaves of green vegetables is going to make you feel different. But it really gets broken down, and it just gets right into your system. And it's all those nutrients, and they're just like running around, and it's a good thing. It's a really good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's
And I'm
great.
actually even getting used to the taste of the kale.
Hmm.
It does have a bit of a sweet flavor to it. It's
It
sweeter than
does.
other kinds of lettuce.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually like it cooked, like sautéed, or some people make chips. They roast them in the oven. They're
I'm
actually really
going to try
tasty.
that. I've
Yeah.
actually had like 3 different people tell me about the kale chips.
Yeah, they're addicting, actually. They're very tasty. Just keep in mind that a lot of kale is a little rough on the system. So,
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other
yeah,
thing we didn't get to.
yeah.
Um, I've been making sure that I'm having like one a day.
Okay.
You know, what I'm really doing is I'm finding that by the time it finishes blending, because I've
Hmm.
got protein powder in there, the
Hmm.
consistency really grows. Okay,
Yes. Right.
so I'm pouring it half and half, and then putting half in the fridge for later.
Oh, okay.
And as long as I'm drinking one a day, my
Hmm.
bowels are moving better than they have in a long time.
Good.
Yeah,
It's great. It's all good
yeah.
news. Do you think that's also giving you, in addition to the walking, a little more energy for riding the bike, for example, or just mental focus? I
I
mean,
I would
yeah.
imagine. I would imagine because I'm not loading up on carbs anymore. I'm not eating anything that's slowing me down. Now
Do you? Yes.
that being said, I want to say that the best part about this healthy lifestyle choice plan that we're on here with my journey,
Mhm.
because I avoid the word diet.
It's not a diet.
It's not a
That's exactly
diet.
what it is. It's a
It
lifestyle.
yeah, because
Right.
I have not throughout the loss of I've been working with you for probably over 40 pounds of the 50 pounds, I think.
Yes.
Close to that period of time, I have not once felt a sense of restriction. Ever.
That's huge.
That
Yeah.
is huge, Dawn. That is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
huge. So because I've not felt any restriction, I have
Hmm.
not felt like it's taken a great deal of effort
Right.
to
And there's nothing to
tackle
rebel
this.
against. That's the thing too.
Absolutely.
Is like there's nothing to rebel against. And we had talked about this in the very beginning, and it bears repeating that this was really about adding things in. I don't think I've ever said to you, you can't have that.
Hmm.
I might have asked you why you wanted something and how you
Hmm.
thought it was serving you,
Yes.
but because those things that you add in are going to gradually edge other things out. So now that you do feel a boost of energy with adding, a green drink, are you still interested in baked goods in the same way?
No. I'm actually, I'm still hitting that clearance rack,
Yes.
but I'm making healthier choices at the
In,
the bakery's clearance rack.
okay. So now
Yeah,
you're more particular about your sugar
yeah,
delivery system.
yeah. Well, an example was I think it was last weekend. I came home with a loaf of from the clearance rack. I came home with a
Hmm.
loaf of whole grain fruit nut bread.
Okay.
That was delicious.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it had like raisins in it and
Oh, good.
cranberries and yeah, Anyways,
And even with that choice, do you feel like you're still eating the same amount? Does it take as much to make you feel satisfied?
no,
That's
definitely
good.
not.
Yeah.
I'm far more cognizant of the feeling of fullness now,
Mm.
and that feeling of fullness is actually triggering in me, okay, time to like put the rest away,
Right. Because
or
it's still
give it
yours.
away, or
Yeah, and
yeah.
that's the thing. It's still yours. You will see it again. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's not the last time you're going to see the piece of bread,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that I think I know is actually what's going to carry you forward because that you never have to worry about following a particular diet. You're
Yeah.
not dieting. This is just you're feeding yourself differently now. It's
Yeah.
very different. Feeding yourself is very different than being restricted or um, judged on what you're eating. You know, you have to live your life. So I think it's great, and I'm thrilled that that whole appetite awareness really resonated with you.
Oh yeah,
And that
huge.
was a big switch for
It was
you.
actually quite transformative
Yeah.
because it raised my awareness around why I tend to eat when I'm depressed. Because
Right.
when I'm depressed, I get this knot feeling in my stomach. I get this, it feels like there's a rock down there, and
Mm.
it's really sore. Like it aches.
Yeah.
It's like a stomach ache when I get anxiety in there. And
Right.
then when I eat, if I eat over top of that feeling, and then especially if I overeat on top of that feeling, I
Mm-hmm.
end up being able to mask the anxiety feeling with an overfull feeling. And
Okay.
so that making that connection for me was huge.
Great.
That, it is, the overeating is partly distraction in terms of the
Right.
activity, but it's
Sure.
also part about masking. And now that I'm recognizing that anxiety feeling in my stomach, I
Mm-hmm.
actually started remembering that when I was a kid, I cannot even count how many upper and lower GI tests I had done.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you had
Um,
pain.
in my abdomen. Yeah.
Oh,
And so
wow.
my mom would bring me to the doctor, and we'd end up,
Right.
the test where you got to drink the barium and
Yes,
stuff.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
can't count how many times as a kid I had that. And I was never diagnosed with any
No,
ulcers, or
no.
even, I wasn't even diagnosed with like irritable bowel syndrome or whatever.
Right.
So it's actually raised my awareness around some of my lifelong issues,
Sure.
right?
Right.
Because why else would I have gotten repeated stomach aches as a
Right.
kid, and so bad that doctors were doing upper and lower
Right.
GI, right? So the
Right.
upper is
So,
up here, lower is
yeah,
bowels,
it was
right?
the
So,
it was a
and they never found
physical,
anything.
right, it was the physical manifestation of your emotions.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, we have 1 week to the day for your first goal, which was to walk with Ernest and the dogs. First we said around the block, but you told me to the park and back actually is the same distance, if not more.
Yes, I looked it up on Google Earth this week,
Okay.
and was able to see that the distance to the park and back is about
Right.
the same as the distance around the block.
Okay,
So that's a
perfect.
good
That's
thing.
fine.
Yeah.
So would you be able to then, like next Wednesday night, let's say, do that walk so that when we talk next Thursday, we can celebrate you reaching your first goal?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Even if I have to drag him out by a chain.
Just entice him with a green
Ernest.
drink.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's your homework for the week. Is just
Okay.
that you got to do that on Wednesday. Um, you really have met your goal ahead of schedule because you already are walking to the park and back. But I still want you to go through that
Yep.
process of what you envisioned of with your husband and the dogs and
Mhm.
a summer night. You know, I mean, I just
Mhm.
really would like you to experience that because that's what your vision was.
Yeah.
So
I'll
that's
do
what
that.
or Tuesday night, doesn't
I'll do
matter.
that.
One night before we talk again next week.
Okay. Okay.
Is that's your
Okay.
homework. All
And I
right.
can and I know that in the background, Linda's producing this show. She's in the background
She's saying
and in her
videotape
brain,
it.
yes, she's going, bring your flip
Yeah.
vid, bring your flip vid. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
okay, I'll
yes.
do that. I'll bring my flip vid. Yeah.
Yes, please do, because I would love to
Okay.
see it as well. All
Awesome,
right.
awesome.
All
Okay.
right.
Very
That's
good.
it for this
Okay.
week. You're doing
Excellent.
amazing. You are an
Excellent.
amazing inspiration. You are.
Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate it. It's been a wonderful journey, and you have been a huge part of that. And I'm just so grateful that that God brought us together at
Yes.
MS Relief. Yeah, very
It's been an
cool.
honor, definitely.
Very good. All right. Well, that's it for this week, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Weight Loss for Wellness on Choose Joy TV, brought to you by msrelief.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Bye.